I'm interviewing Ed Hospodar next week.
I saw that. Yeah.
And like he left me a funny message. He called me today and he's like, Earl, it's Ed Hospodar. Fuck you. And I'm like, oh man. Like,
he played for a bunch of teams. What was this?
I think
he was on St. Louis, the Rangers.
I think he was on the Rangers. Then he went to Philly. Then he went to.
Oh yeah, which is a huge.
Yeah.
Back in those days, that was a big jump.
Well, I'm just excited to have him on, just ask him about like the Tom Wilson stuff and.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna touch on that.
Oh, for sure.
All right. We might as well
you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. Well, let's give
Juggy a second.
Told him.
I'm in no rush.
All right. Cool.
We'll give him a minute. Just give him a minute. We could always start. He'll jump on. He's good.
Show you my Steve Stevens ray gun real fast.
I heard. I was going to request that ray gun.
Crazy to me that he's my neighbor.
Speaking of crazy, Kevin Brennan was in this very living room we're sitting in right now a week and a half ago.
Yep.
Did you see that, Earl? He did Mead's secret show in his backyard.
I did not. I'm out of the loop. Like
that's right. Well, you're also out of the coast too.
Well, we might as well officially start this fucking episode.
All right, let's get going. Go ahead.
With us, we have the incomparable Earl Skakel joining us. Hockey and wrestling aficionado, and
LA correspondent.
Yes, right. The Kings, the best. That was possibly one of the best logos ever.
With me today, my co-hosts are Kamala, the Ugandan giant.
Nice.
And
rest in peace.
Abdullah the Butcher.
I was very scared of him as a child.
Thought that was
real
me
name.
For a second.
It kind of looks like Stancil.
I had to look closely.
Real name Larry.
What's up, Earl? How's your life? Get it out of the way. How's the West Coast?
I mean, it's good. Shows are happening again. Had a spot at the Comedy Store this week, and it was like weird, but like a religious experience at the same time. Because the crowd. I mean, I've been doing comedy like 20 years or longer. I don't even know when I started. Like it's so long, and it. Like, I don't think I've ever felt a room like that where I was happy, everyone was happy, like, and it was sad because, and I know I'm going to drop a little local knowledge that your fans are like, what's the big deal? But Jeff Scott wasn't there. He was the piano player from the Comedy Store for like 30 years. He passed away over the pandemic.
Yep.
So it was like a little bit of sadness too, because I don't think I've ever not gone up in that room without him playing me up. So I was like, shed a little tear. Actually, if you think I don't have any emotion, I was like, it was a weird energy, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that's all. I guess sounds like the same thing comics have said here. Is like the crowds all want to be there now.
Right, they're coming to laugh. They're coming for a reason. It's not just the night out.
Yeah, no, it was just like they were looking at me like I was, Bill Burr. They could have cared less who was on that stage.
Right.
Like it could have been Bill Burr, could have been me, could have been an open micer.
Could have been Jeremy Piven.
Speaking of open micers, I mean, he's out of control, man. But like,
is he still trying or is he giving up yet?
No, he headlines, bro. Like,
no.
And I get it. I mean, he's a big star.
By name.
I found it fascinating that Jeremy Piven looks younger now than he did in like PCU, like 1993. They did something. He's either eating like fetuses, whatever they're feeding those people. I feel like there's some kind of chemical keeping him young here.
He does look good,
and it might be Propecia, but I don't know. He does look good,
and he seems happy on stage. So he's never done anything wrong to me personally, but I'm just blown away at the thought process of, hey, I got Me Too'd out of Hollywood. I think I'll get into stand-up.
Right.
That is like the last field I would get into if I had like issues of like the Me Too type issues.
Right. Yeah, but I guess it's like, I mean, this is hack at this point, but right? I mean, it's just kind of thing actors do, right? Is they just, let me dabble in stand up because it's they think in their head it's similar, but I don't know. And we've said this enough. We are not stand up comics. Disclaimer here.
Correct.
We're just personalities. So
shitty personality.
Shitty, terrible personality.
We like stand up so much that we don't go near it.
That's right. I have too much respect for it, but that's it because it's its own thing. Talking into this mic and having some fun is one thing, but going on a stage and having, I don't know,
being able to read a crowd is very different from, doing what was the fucking dance that they did in
the 1-2 step?
Whatever.
PCU now.
The Humpty Dance. Rest in peace.
Right. But it is good to see that despite who's going on stage, it's good to see comedy clubs opening back up. And I enjoy your tweets about comics who've fled the scene to
I got a lot of blowback from some of my LA friends who moved to Austin. They're like, you weren't talking about me, were you? I'm like, I think that if you're in Rogan's inner circle, you should go to Austin. Like if you're in that 7 or 8 group,
his stable,
he's going to take care of. Yeah, and I wish I was in it. I'm like, if you were to rank a top 50 of Rogan's friends, LA friends, I'm probably number 23. I'm there, but not there enough to move to Austin. So, I just think that some of the people think, if I go there, I'll get on the podcast and then they'll headline me at this club. And it's like, well, Adam is the booker now at Joe's club. He was the booker at the Comedy Store. It's like, if he didn't book you here.
Adam Egan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, if he didn't book you in LA, he ain't going to all of a sudden magically book you in Austin.
Well, right. I think I heard you say it on MLC, the MLC podcast the other day, which was great, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're an open micer, you can't just go to Austin. It seems like they're opening up. He's going to open up a ready to go club and need ready to go comics down there. So, yeah, I think you were dead on with that.
Headlining comics.
Yeah.
Not
he'll need some feature comics. I mean, someone before Tim Dillon or Hinchcliffe or Santino or whoever.
Right.
But and I don't know what the local Austin scene is in terms of good, not beginning comics, but good, I don't know, mid-level comics. But
right.
I'm sure they'd research that. I don't think Joe needs my help researching the Austin comedy scene.
Yeah. What and this is a sports show, by the way.
We'll
get to this.
We're greasing the wheels a little bit.
We do this every week, or we just say the word sports every 5 minutes to keep it a sports show. It's basically how the show works. What else? I did want to touch on one thing because I don't want to beat a dead horse, and we do actually want to get to sports. But I was curious. Did you see the big thing? And I think Kevin talked about it on his show. The joke that Rogan was talking about, the joke thieves who now have specials, and you could tell that their newer specials aren't as good because they're not stealing jokes. Did you see that whole thing?
I did not. Now, in full disclosure, I don't listen to anyone's podcast just because I don't want to steal ideas or like, that's a good question. I mean, I would say the recent crop of specials, I would say the last 5 years, they're not all, but a fair amount are hastily put together, and they're not very special.
Right.
I can't comment on the joke stealing they do, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, but it depends on the joke. Like, there's a controversial thing happening in Vegas right now between 2 comics about a Michael Jackson joke, but it's that's tough. That's why I joke about like the 80s, like bands like Rat. No one is stealing my material.
Right.
So if you hear another Rat joke, let me know.
I was just
well, we could go round and round on this all day.
Yeah. But
that's my favorite thing in life, other than the Ed Hospodar phone call, is I'm friends with Stephen Pearcy, the singer from Rat, and he only texts me in rat lingo. So
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or it's just how, he is, but I said, hey, I'd love to have you on the podcast soon, talk about, he did a live stream show and all that. And he's like, yeah, I'll come back for more. And I'm like,
Texting you in metal haikus.
and then I said, hey, I have a show at the Comedy Store. I'd love to have you there. And he's like, way cool, Junior. Like, so.
Bringing in our official third co-host here. Is he somewhere?
He's somewhere.
He's somewhere.
Anyway, let's just dive into the freaking sports, I guess.
Yeah.
You brought it up first. Tom Wilson had a week.
Good week.
A good week. I've heard different takes on this. A lot of people say, it's no big deal. A lot of people are, clutching their pearls. But we have the opinion any physical aggression is good for hockey. I like to make fun of the fact that he's a complete oaf but he's a good hockey player, so you can't hate him. I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of Tom Wilson hate, but you really can't hate him for what he does. I think in a nutshell, he's a good hockey player. He just gets in these scenarios where he does stuff, and I think that he has a spotlight on him all the time. Slamming a little guy's head on the ice is one thing. Making big hits is another. But what's your take on him basically and this Panarin deal?
I mean, he's like a dirtier version of Cam Neely. Like if you're an older hockey fan.
Yeah, I know Cam.
Look him up. He was a very clean Seabass from Dumb and Dumber for you younger kids.
Absolutely.
I was more disappointed the Rangers didn't do what they did last night on Monday.
Right.
That's show some balls and I know they don't have fighters outside of Brendan Smith.
Right.
And he's not even really a fighter, to be honest. But
right. I heard some takes, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, but they're calling for them to bring up. I mean, their season's basically over. They should have done this in the they don't have size on the team to take on guys like Tom Wilson. That's a big problem. I think the other guy besides Smith is like Chris Kreider is probably the only guy who could really try to fight anybody. But they're calling for having Hartford, oh God, I can't make that mistake. Hartford Wolfpack come up and bruise them. But I think you're right. They should have done something that night. To kind of, I don't even think they did that great a job last night. They kind of got handled. Yeah,
they didn't do really in that opening, the 3 opening face-off fights. They lost all 3.
Right.
And really probably lost the Smith-Wilson fight.
Yep.
And then the other 2 fights were probably, I guess you could call them draws, but I mean, I don't know who's down in Hartford right now. I don't know if they have a goon. I know, like the Kings, they have a guy by the name of Curtis McDermott, who is probably the heavyweight champ right now in the league. But it's funny, the Rangers weren't interested in him at some point, but they also have my good friend, the legendary Boko Imama, playing for the Ontario Reign.
Nice.
But I don't think they have anyone in their system who can take on Tom Wilson.
Yeah, right. Right off the grip. Yeah, he is. The thing is, we're Islanders fans, as horrible as that sounds. But there's something that we've noticed is that Tom Wilson will go after smaller guys, guys who can't defend themselves. And then once somebody steps up, not like last night, he did handle Smith. But when somebody, we have a player, there's basically 2 fighters on the Islanders. It's Matt Martin and you got Ross Johnson, who they trade in every once in a while. Anytime he faces either of those guys, he turtles. He doesn't go for a fight, and the refs protect him, which is something that I that's the only reason that I would say that he's an asshole for what he did to Panarin, is that he gets protected. The league protects him in some cases against bigger guys. And I mean, I haven't noticed this against any other team, but anytime they play the Islanders and they get physical, the refs will break up any fight that he gets into, like, automatically. I don't know if you've noticed that with anybody else, but
I mean, I just don't. I mean, every now and then Ryan Reeves, who is probably Wilson's arch nemesis, but they rarely play each other unless it's in the finals.
right.
You know, I see that with him because they're like, he's the biggest guy in the league, or one of them. We can't have him. We got to protect the other guy, basically.
Sure.
But I think all they had to do, and I'm glad they didn't do it, because I wanted to see what happened. If they suspend them for one game, yesterday's game, nothing happens. Like, you know, you might see like Strome fight. I don't know, not Mantha. What's the guy number 39 they just traded for from Detroit? Yeah, Mantha.
Yeah.
You might see that like that, and then that's it. But they were almost guaranteeing a 6-fight first period if you did not take Wilson out. And then today, Bushnevich gets suspended for 2 games for what he did to Mantha, cross-checking him, which is like, once again, if you suspend Wilson for 1 game, that doesn't happen.
Right.
The Rangers were fined $250,000 for their statement, which I kind of liked, to be honest with you. Like, they said, hey, George Peros isn't good at his job.
Oh, we're coming back.
Uh-oh.
There we go. There we go.
Wait, you guys see me?
Yeah.
We're
All I see is an M. Oh, okay, no worries.
And we're back. Holy moly.
Listen, I let me a couple things here. First of all, Tom Wilson wears women's shoulder pads. No, that's a fact. Look at the picture. The shoulder cup and the bicep guard are one piece. That's a woman's shoulder pad. I work in the business. Second of all, again, as Islanders fan, I don't understand how the organization get fined $245,000 more than the player who punched a guy in the back of the head after he shoved his head into the ice. I feel like there's a happy medium somewhere in there between 5,000 and 250,000
for making a statement. I'm
not opposed to what he's doing, to be honest. He's a piece of shit, but he's consistent. Whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Just be consistent. So I'm not.
Well, I mean, I grew up. You know, I'm 52, so like I grew up watching hockey in the late 70s and early 80s, where like, let's just say if you did this to the New York Rangers in 1981, the next shift, they would have put out Barry Beck, Ed Hospar, Eddie Johnstone, Carol Vadnais, and one of the Maloney, George McPhee.
Everybody could throw down at that point.
And that next shift would have still been going on. So it's just a different era. I think teams are shying away from carrying tough guys. Just it's a wasted roster spot.
Yep.
In this era, other than the Islanders with Matt Martin, Johnson, and not the Clutterbuck's a goon, but like he starts.
He'll get out. He'll get out there. Yeah.
You know, you have Vegas has Reeves. That's about it. The Kings have McDermott, but they don't even play him anymore.
Right.
Because he's just not. I mean, he's not horrible, but he just can't keep up.
It's becoming more and more of a skill and speed game. So, I mean, and they're, you know, fighting has almost become a novelty at this point.
Yeah, they're like less fights, more finesse.
Juggy's in the house.
What's happening?
Welcome aboard.
I got New York Rangers fan, Juggy.
Well, that's where I was going. We got big Earl Skakel here. Juggy is a big Rangers fan. We're talking to Tom. We were finishing talking Tom Wilson. So
I was just going to say that's a
the
wonderful
floor is
topic
yours.
to open
The
right
floor
up
is
on.
yours, you Irish piece of fucking shit.
Well, what I heard, first of all, Earl Skakel, an honor to have you on the show, man.
Thank you.
Man. Huge welcome aboard. And growing up as a Ranger fan, I totally agree. It's less fights and more finesse nowadays. People are looking for skills, they're looking for hands, passing, tic-tac-toes, one-timers. It's all skill. I couldn't agree more, to be quite honest, man. I like for the situation that happened, if a team feels that the NHL didn't do their jobs and properly suspend somebody, not only just finding them, then they'll take it upon themselves. This is what I love about hockey. They can take matters into their own hands and they can send people out. And you know what? send your fourth line out. Let's have a scrap here. But that guy on the bench is what we're looking for. We're going to get him anyway. And that's exactly what happened. I thought it was fantastic how they handled it. It was great. Slobber knocker all around.
Well, I'm also noticed that right before he punched Bushnevich in the head, he was also very coyly using his stick as a lever and like grinding either his neck or his face into the ice. Like it was very like on the sly, and I found that to be the worst thing he did. Was like,
Yeah, right.
using his stick as like a guillotine.
The stuff that dirty players do that people don't see, that's some real dirty stuff. Take the heel of your stick and slam it as hard as you could into the top of their foot because there's no padding there. That'll kill you for the whole game. You know?
Yeah, or slash. If you slash someone in the back of the calves, because there's very little padding, if any, back there.
If any, exactly.
I don't think that goes unnoticed by the stick men of the league.
Yeah. Well, I guess
totally.
The good consensus is that Tom Wilson is a scumbag, but he's consistent, and that's all. And that's all that matters.
That's right. I'll sign up.
He hasn't changed. He's done dirty shit like this constantly.
You keep it on the ice. Don't fucking have your open letters to the league.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
I don't know if $250,000 fine was in order, but whatever. At the same time, I don't think they did yesterday what they needed to do in retaliation to him. They don't have the size to do it. Earl was saying that there's not many guys who they roll out purposely to fight anybody anymore. And
those like solid positions, again, I totally agree. It's starting to become an all-skill league.
I mean, I think the only guy in the last couple of years the Rangers have had was Dylan McElrain, but he's not even in the organization anymore. I think he's in Red Wings, and I know they just traded Lemieux to the Kings, who he might have been someone. Wilson would kill him, but he'd probably pick a fight with, I don't know, one of the smaller Capitals before Wilson got a hold of him. So
give me a Detroit Red Wing Cronwall any day. That's one of my. He just lined him up and hit him. He didn't fight too much. He answered like you said, Mead, on the ice right there.
Abdulkader,
line somebody and Cromwell him, slam, open ice hit, embarrass the shit out of him, all kinds of stuff, man. That's what gets me going. Play the game and Cronwell hard, man.
Yeah,
I used to love watching those highlight reels.
It is good when you can find a player who has a happy medium of being an actual skilled player and able to grind.
Most fun to watch.
Yeah, like Clutterbuck is one. He's not that, he's in his twilight, but when you can find a guy who can toe the line between a skilled player or a scorer in a decent sense and being able to fight is that's really what you need now.
Yeah,
well, I think that's what saves Wilson's ass with the league and whoever the hierarchy that's in charge of suspensions is. He's a good player. Like he'll score 30 goals.
Yeah,
very true too. Yeah,
it's like not many guys in this era. Like Curtis McDermott. He's probably the only guy who could hang with Wilson, maybe Reeves. He's a bit of a liability. In this era, and Reeves isn't. Like he can play. I don't know if he'll score 30 goals, but he won't, embarrass you on the ice. So which is why Wilson probably will never do anything stupid against Vegas.
Right.
Maybe he would. He's at a point now where he probably feels so invincible.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Full heel. He's full heel. You almost have to love it.
He's like Rick Rude, man.
Except alive.
Love to hate.
I think the only other thing that might have pissed people off other than what he did on the ice was the muscle man pose in the box.
He just looked like a kid.
Yeah, odd taunts, probably an inside taunt between another player that they play golf with or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus Panarin being out the rest of the season. Granted, the season's over for the Rangers. It's still he should have at least done 3 games.
Sure.
For that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, anytime that the Rangers are out and the Islanders in, you guys know, I always shift over to the other New York team. no matter what. So
He's just a
yeah,
good guy.
Rangers
You're
are like
just
10 points off.
You're such a good
It's-
guy.
He's just a
Yeah,
very
I'm
good
a
guy.
real guy though. Like, what am I
He
gonna
does-
do? Not watch the
Earl,
playoffs?
he doesn't swear. He also doesn't swear.
He doesn't swear or
never
use
swears.
foul language.
No,
He's
I
the
sure
only
don't.
Irish Catholic who does not swear.
Yeah,
That's
the only
impressive.
Irish Catholic.
He hits
the only
women,
Irish
though.
Catholic virgin.
He'll take it out with an open hand.
He really beats the hell out of women, but he doesn't swear.
I only swear when the caffeine kicks in and I'm in like full Ultimate Warrior mode.
Shaking the rope.
Yeah.
Well, you're all right. Well, we can get into a little bit more hockey before we, dabble on some other stuff. What are your playoff prediction for the West now? You're obviously a West Coast guy.
Yeah, wait a minute, Earl. Who's your team? Do you have a
He's the
favorite team?
Kings.
I'm a King man.
Yours are Kings. Okay.
And we have a great future because we've got
And Kings beat the Rangers in the finals a couple years back. That must have been awesome.
That was my favorite game.
That was
gonna talk about that.
Yeah. There you go. Not non-fanaticals over here, man. Hats off. That was a hell of a series. That was a great year.
Yeah, no, we got lucky, with Quick and Lundqvist, there was like two guys in their prime. Like,
Yep.
any
Yeah.
team could have won.
Yeah, I honestly wish the Rangers just played better, man. They sucked. What was it? They lost 4-1 in that series, if I'm not mistaken. They probably not got shut out.
Well, I think after the
But up
Kings
until then, it was
came back 3-0 against the Sharks, they were down 3-0. It was just their destiny to win.
Yeah.
And Sutter, the coach at the time, his message usually wears thin after a couple seasons. That was the last season that I think they were on board with his Tortorella-like coaching. So it was just, unfortunately for the King, Quick just played a little better, but he's still an amazing goalie.
Yeah, Connecticut boy.
Connecticut
Yeah.
boy. He married Jackie Backman. I went to high school with her. Good girl. That's a fact.
Wait,
Matt
who
Mo-
married
Matt Mo-
Jackie Backman? Tortorella or Lundqvist? Oh, Quick. Oh,
Quick. And
that party at Jackie?
that was a weird thing. You just go to the party at Jackie Backman's. John Quick was there.
I left my Letterman jacket at Jackie Backman's.
Had such a high school name, Jackie Backman. And-
Nobody's named that after high school.
And her sister married Matt Molson.
Ah,
Puck
these
hose.
Yeah,
hockey guys.
he's a good King and Islander. I think Buffalo Sabre too.
Yeah, fact. He started with the Kings.
Yeah. Pretty high draft pick, and then for whatever reason didn't pan out.
Well, I got qualms with them and not re-signing Matt Molson, but that's for another day.
Earl, did you, if you don't mind me asking, were you there a lot when the Gretzky years and the Robitaille years for the Kings?
Oh,
Like 90s?
I was there like before the Gretzky years.
Oh, okay.
Long story short, my dad's company had season tickets, and this is in the height of the Showtime Lakers. So
Okay.
every business executive wanted the Laker tickets, and I went to every King game probably for 10 straight years before, and then they got Gretzky, and then executives were like,
Wow.
hey, can we go to the King game now? So
Yeah. That's awesome.
it was
man.
magical at the Forum, because the Forum was a dirty arena. Like, it was, the walls
Yeah.
were dirty.
You could barely see the fans in those old videos.
got a classic fight
Yeah.
right here. Forum Lakers Rangers.
Oh, absolutely, man. But it was a great, the coloring in the arena was horrific. It was orange and yellow seats. And you could buy a ticket for $5 and literally sit on the glass. There was no ushers. Like, it was a free for all.
Yeah, the way it
and then
should
once-
be.
A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
standing room.
And then once Gretzky got there, it was a little more, okay, we need ushers so people don't sneak down into the rich people's area. And, it was, I mean, that first year Gretzky was here, it was like, LA was a hockey town. Like, it was like Lakers were second fiddle to, you had Tuesday night games against the Hartford Whalers selling out. And it was
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Just to see the great one. Yeah.
yeah, no, he was still pretty much in his prime, and we got all his buddies from Edmonton, to help him. And they had like 8 tough guys on the team. Like,
Sorely.
they had, this is just off my shady memory, McSorley, Jay Wells, Larry Playfair, Ken Baumgartner, Dean Kennedy, Dave Taylor. I mean,
You're going through like the NHL 93 PA for Sega Genesis roster right now. That's what I'm hearing. Good. Oh, I mean, I think it's classic.
And it just goes the different eras of the league and how things were treated. The first trade they made after they got Gretzky was to get Jay Miller from Boston, who was like Probert was the king, but Miller was top 5. And then, and a condition of the Gretzky trade was it doesn't happen unless McSorley comes with me. So it's just, versus today where you have Wilson ragdolling a guy who looks like a, African refugee camp survivor.
Welcome to your country.
I love Panarin. He's a great player, but
right. They're getting smaller every year. Speaking of big boys, who are your I won't say top 5 in any order, but your favorite bruisers of all time? Who's your favorite goons, your favorite enforcers of all time? I know you like Donald Brashear, right?
Yes, he was a maniac. He was almost Tom Wilson-like, where he kind of fought against the. He was boring. He would just hug you and give you noogies. He would fight smaller players. Like I remember one game he went after Jaromir Jagr when he was on the Rangers, and then he fought Shanahan, and Shanahan held pretty in there with him. And
he's a tough guy, yeah.
As they broke him up, Brashear just turns around and sucker punches Aaron Ward right in the face for no reason. I like guys who made it interesting. And then, Probert's the king.
Probert, yeah.
He's that. I mean, there's no one who comes close to him. Then Joey Kocur, who was his. That's how tough Detroit was. And think about if you were an opposing player and you beat Bob Probert, and he did lose a few times. No harm there. You knew the next shift you had to fight Joey Kocur because he was going to be, all right, you beat my guy. Now you got to beat me.
You got to go through the gamut.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and then I would say Barry Beck, Ranger, great from the past. Didn't fight a lot, but that's because he didn't have to. And then I like Ben Wilson of the Flyers because he was an asshole. He might be the closest thing to Tom Wilson from that era because he hit smaller players, dirty, didn't care who he fought. He would hit a goalie over the head with the stick. Nothing of it. And I don't think he was ever suspended.
See, that's the thing. If what Tom Wilson did happened 40 years ago, it wouldn't even be like. It wouldn't be a whisper in the wind. Nobody would even mention it. It would just be, play as usual. It's like it's changed so much, and the league is just, I don't know. I don't like the way they're trying to reform things. I don't think it's that drastic yet, but I can see them pushing towards more, pussification. I don't know.
Well, it's working. They're already banning fighting in juniors, which is where, Tom Wilson probably learned how to fight and be a dick was in juniors. And I think that the face shields. I think kind of limit who wants to actually hit their hands.
Right, you can't take a shift if your helmet falls off.
So it's tough. Like I grew up in it. I sound old because I am much older than you guys.
Yeah,
but you can't have some of the guys who are playing in the 80s in the league anymore, like those types. Jay Caulfield literally learned how to skate at 16. And, and he was a Ranger at first, but he was the one who wore that huge like linebacker neck brace.
Yep.
Cowboy collar.
What is this guy doing?
They had to walk him out onto the ice with a fucking like leash.
Yeah, exactly.
So I understand you don't want guys like that playing in the league, but it's still, I wish there was some way to find a way to inject the league or the games with more emotion. Because think about it, we all watched that game last night because we knew what was going to happen.
Right.
So I'm not.
I'm sure anybody who just normally watches hockey in any sense, like everybody was tuned into that.
Yeah, because you knew, like, I haven't been that excited to see a game in years. Because I didn't think there were going to be 3 fights off the draw. I just thought, Wilson would take a shift and then Smith would go after him and then that'd be it. But like, I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of hijinks.
Yep. Yeah, I think he was also a king. One of my favorite, recent scrap battles was it 2013 or 2011? It was the Islanders versus the Penguins. I think that was like known as Fight Night, where it was when they had Rick DiPietro. He got knocked out by the
Johnson.
Johnson the night before, and then the next time they play, or it wasn't the night. I don't know if it was a back-to-back, but the next game that they played him, it was the entire game was just a fight. I don't think they actually played. And Michael Haley lit up everybody on the Penguins.
He wrote Roots.
Yeah.
Well, then I remember Haley went after he like fought whoever. I think he was fighting Talbot.
Yeah, Cam Talbot. Yeah, that was.
And then you just see Haley kind of look at the goalie and just sprint after the goalie, and then Eric Goddard, who was a tough dude.
Yep, Goddard was there.
And Trevor Gillies.
Trevor Gillies, no relation.
But he was like beating up some Swedish player, I think, who was hurt. Clearly, this guy was hurt, and like Gillies is standing over him, like. Ugh.
That's a guy who was
the additional taunt.
He was the goon. That he literally offered absolutely nothing besides a handlebar mustache and a problem.
Yeah, he might have been the last true goon to play in the league.
Got him and Goddard. Yeah,
if even like LaRock could play.
LaRock. Yeah.
And other, tough guys. Brashear wasn't horrible as a player. He wasn't great, but
right. But he was Holyfield with skates on, basically.
I think Gillies would have trouble scoring in my ball hockey league.
Well, actually, Earl, you just hit on. You still play?
I do. 52 years old, and I fucking dominate.
Fuck yeah!
There you go.
So,
Hell
you're playing in a men's league?
I play in a men's ball hockey. Well, it's co-ed, but there's more men than women. But it's a serious league. Like we have a guy right now who plays in it, and he was in the NHL the last 10 years. Mitch Callahan, who drafted, I think, in the second round by the Oilers, by the Red Wings, and then he went to the Oilers. There's not fights, but there's enough action to, warrant you be in good physical condition.
Right.
But I have a super hard slap shot. Like I have an NHL speed slap shot. So, that's where I score a lot of my goals. I got about 45 scoring trophies upstairs that take up the whole second bedroom.
Wow,
Earl's got a fucking boomer, man. That's what I like to hear.
I do. Like if I were to equate myself with an NHL player, it would be like Shea Weber, a little slow.
Wow.
But you give me a little space, I can score from anywhere.
Yeah, he's giving you a frozen rope. Did you play ice hockey as a kid growing up?
I did, but I took ice skating lessons, and I got discouraged when my skating instructor, who was the guy who was the instructor for the Kings, not that you need to teach NHL players how to skate, but he was the guy who was in charge of improving their skating. He's like, Earl, I love you, man, but you skate like Mick Jagger walks.
Like a chicken.
I was not a great skater. I couldn't stop. I was like Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks. Like if I could get a shot, I would score. But I just, I guess I quit playing because I wasn't having fun because everyone was such a better skater than me. So I was like, I'll just play ball hockey. I can run with anyone.
Yeah, it's important to have fun. Let me tell you.
If you're not
a current coach, it really is.
Yeah.
Goldberg.
It's like golf. Golf is one of the greatest games of all time, but if you're not good at it, it sucks.
Goldberg had a rough time.
Yeah, he really. I thought I was going to bump into him at an open mic out here.
Oh my god!
Get that kid a roast battle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Jesus, it looks like he needs a roast. I'm looking at a picture of him. He looks a bit.
It's a tough business, man. I mean, the acting business might be even tougher than the comedy business.
There you go.
There's
Oh my
Goldberg.
God.
Yeah, like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus. He went from a Jewish goaltender to Cheech Marin on
Right.
crack.
I mean,
Yeah.
he looks like Tom Hanks at the end of Philadelphia.
Dead.
Yeah.
but he came back, right? Now he's back to being a normal person.
Yeah, he
again.
recovered. He went to
Back. What a great story.
what a great story. And was he not featured in the reboot of Mighty Ducks?
I gave that. I tried. I gave it two. I couldn't do. It's for children. The Mighty Ducks reboot. I gave it 2 minutes and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I grew up on the Mighty Ducks, but this new thing is not for.
Yeah, what does Julie the cat look like right about now?
Yeah, right.
Hot.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some lookers. What about the other one? She was in the.
Yeah, let's talk
she was
about.
in the-
Oh,
child-
Margaret
let's
Moreau.
talk about child.
you know what I'm talking
Margaret Moreau,
about.
Connie.
Not the former figure skater, but the one who was.
She was
locking
also
the
in one of our
key.
favorite movies of all time, Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Wait, pull up a picture of her. I don't know who you guys are talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Who is she in Wet Hot?
She was Katie. She was.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah. We'll pull up a. Yeah. That reboot. I thought it was going to be an actual reboot. Yeah.
Well, reboots you either hit or miss. So like the Cobra Kai thing, that's a huge hit. But
That was fun, but it was making fun of itself too. That's what I was hoping this would kind of be.
yeah, they're in on the joke with Cobra Kai. Like,
She's not. Oh, she's
Yeah,
doing.
Everybody gets a bonsai.
She's doing
tree.
just fine. Margaret Moreau is doing just fine.
well, I'm excited for the upcoming season because they're bringing back. Oh, she's not
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
Doing great.
Good old Connie.
Hey, is she still going out with Gee?
She kind of looks like that female goalie, Manon Rion.
Oh yeah, she played on the Lightning. Wasn't she the first female goalie to start a game? Right.
Yeah, I think she played. I don't know if she played a regular season game, but I think she started a preseason game, and
Oh yeah.
man, that locker room must have stunk.
So, yeah. Holy shit.
Well, at least they all had sandwiches waiting for them after the game. That must have been a nice perk.
Yeah, I mean, she knew her place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're all guys here. Yeah.
Most locker rooms have kitchens. Me and Juggy grew up playing hockey. I played some hockey. We all got used to playing co-ed men's leagues, and that's kind of one of the weirdest changing with a chick in a men's like men's league hockey locker room.
When I did that, they actually had like separate locker rooms.
No.
They got with the times. What kind of leagues did you participate in?
And Greenwich, he's a Greenwich guy.
My men's league, we had one locker room. They didn't give a shit.
Okay, fair enough.
They didn't give a shit.
For the one in Twin Rinks, yeah, some girls actually didn't give a shit because they weren't like taking it. You couldn't see anything anyway. Like they came in almost half dressed anyway. But yeah, I guess for the first time I was like, oh, okay, this is happening. All right, well, welcome aboard, I guess. I got used to it pretty quick. I got 3 sisters, so it didn't really mean much to me. That was the thing.
Yeah, you were looking at naked girls all the time.
That's the one sport where
yeah.
chicks can fucking hang with dudes. Like,
oh yeah, that's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
skill
wise,
drink too.
They can fucking drink. Girls who play hockey can fucking drink.
Oh yeah, they can handle themselves. Absolutely, it's a lot of fun too to see that shit.
The pucka-hose.
Remember those? The old hot
boy.
biscuits or the stale bagels. What are they called?
That was the Wisconsin stories. We'll have to come back. We have to do another installment of the Wisconsin.
Hot biscuits. What are you guys talking?
We went to.
It's a yeast
Take it
infection.
away, Jim.
We already did one. We did one installment of Wisconsin stories. Earl, we did a little Bat Blue National Pond Hockey Tournament in Eagle River, Wisconsin, like the top dead center of Wisconsin. We went to 4 years in a row.
4 years in a row.
Yep. Dollar Lake.
And just burned the city to embers.
Absolute
essentially.
ground.
But
everywhere
one
we
of
went.
the teams was Pucka-Hose, and then there was
Shout
anyway.
out to the hot biscuits, I think they were called.
I was on a team in a ball hockey tournament in Vegas. We were called the Peter North Stars.
That's good.
That's good.
And the logo was like where the N on the North Stars would be going up. It was a huge dick, and it was like,
There you go.
No, this is a
guys,
bicep.
we're gonna be playing against women. I don't know if like it's like appropriate.
I'm sure they loved it.
Oh man.
But then I saw another team from Canada was called the Swallows, so I was like, all right, I get it.
There it is.
I got to. I have to comment on before we get too far away here because we were off last week, and this is neither here nor there. I don't do transitions. I don't really care.
Well, you're going through one right now because you almost look like
That's
a
right.
lesbian.
Well, I'm gay now, and I'll soon be a woman, hopefully. But
You'll get better spots.
I'm trying. Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking
If you want to
spotty,
play hockey with us, we got the D position open.
spotty underwear.
Right.
The Jets draft. Sorry, the Jets draft. I have to comment. It was. I can't speak. It was deplorable. Absolutely embarrassing.
Not happy with it.
another Jets draft. So we drafted Sam Darnold 2.0, a guy. Oh, let's get a guy from BYU, a Mormon university, who is Mormon. Let's bring him into New York City after the last failed quarterback, another generic white pocket quarterback in the 2021 NFL. So that's our first pick with the second pick in the draft for starters. And then we draft a 5'9" wide receiver, a guy 3 inches taller than me, who not only that, but he's the guy who lost his team the game when he pretended to piss like a dog after he scored that touchdown and they got a penalty and then they missed a field goal. And then Ohio State and then the other team kicked the field goal to win the game. So you get a guy, a Mormon from BYU as the quarterback. After you just had another white quarterback, and then you get a 5'9" guy who loses his team games by pretending to be a dog pissing on hedges to play with a rookie, by the way, to be this rookie's quarterback. He's 5'9" in the NFL. I saw people like saying, oh, nice, good draft. What the fuck? Are you fucking delusional? Another failed Jets draft. We're going to go another 5 years without having a quarterback. And I'm not even being funny. This is just fact. And I don't give me a black mobile quarterback. It's 2021. I want a quarterback. I wanted the quarterback from Ohio State, wherever the hell, Tavon Smith, whatever.
Field.
Yes. Thank you. Give me a guy who can run for 50, 100 yards, throw for 200. That's how you win. And then don't worry about dumping money in your offensive line.
Give me a black. Give me a quick.
I'm not even saying it like that. I'm just fact.
No,
I don't care.
I agree. I want to need a mobile.
PC.
They need a mobile
That's
quarterback.
what it is. Look who wins. Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Tom Brady's an outlier. Fuck him. Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
He's an
Fuck
outlier.
Tom Brady. Please don't get me started on Tom Brady. That's a whole. He's ruined my life.
Kisses
My
his
life
son
is
on his
ruined.
mouth.
Everything, all the problems I've ever had come back to Tom Brady playing for the Patriots. I'm convinced of it.
He's just too good. I mean, I'm a Steeler guy, and if he wasn't around, Steelers would have at least 2 more Super Bowls.
Well, I'm a Jets fan, so he's ruined my whole life. My whole life is over. My
You're
whole life is
No,
over.
you-
I would have been a millionaire. I
sucks
would have
having
had a
that guy in the
beautiful wife. I would have had a beautiful wife. I would have had a much better job. Everything would have been different if Tom Brady didn't play for the Patriots. Rack me.
Yeah.
I feel like there really is
Mark
no.
Wahlberg would be.
There really aren't any Patriots fans. They were all just Tom Brady fans.
Sorry,
That's a great point.
We don't have to talk about
That
the
is.
draft. I had to get that out.
This Stanza Rant is brought to you
well,
by
actually-
Tylenol because you fucking need it.
Juggy, actually, I'll throw it to you with this for the next subject here. Did you see AEW? Is that right? The wrestling?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
AEW is #1 for the first time.
In the ratings?
Yep. For the
Get the
first
fu-
time.
really?
Yep. Jim
Chris
Jim-
Jericho's killing it.
Ross
Let's
tweeted
go.
it today. Jim Ross tweeted it today. They were #1 for the
Wow.
first time.
Well, first of all, how can I follow up a Stancil rant? How dare you throw
well,
it
you're a
right to
Jets
me,
fan.
my
I'm
friend.
sorry. I mean, you guys can
No,
comment if
you're
you want.
right.
I figured
You're right. You're
I
right.
just had to get that out. I'm in therapy.
Chris Jericho and his
The funny-
melting sternum.
Yeah, the best part about that was that just watching you and hearing all that, I was just like, yeah, I don't need to say anything. I'm perfectly fine now. I totally agree. It sucks. Yeah, but to get back to it, really, dude, I'm such a huge Orange Cassidy fan. I get so much hate for that, but his shit is, I don't know. If you don't know who Orange Cassidy is in the AEW, just check
Nope.
out some of his shit. whatever. It's pretty it's outside of the box, whatever. But I'm fucking good for Chris Jericho, man. Number one. I thought NXT would kind of come up with it, but wow.
Slow down.
Well, you threw it to me. I won't slow down.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
All right, what's the question?
Jeez.
Wow.
What does Chris Jericho have to do with AEW?
He's in
He only
AEW.
runs it.
He's in it, isn't it?
He runs it.
Right.
All right.
Good for him. He got good ratings.
Go ahead.
Great question.
I cannot.
What was it?
I'm going to bow out of this one. I have not watched wrestling since.
No, you should. AEW is good.
Is it
I'm
good?
telling you, check out Cassidy. At least check him out. Just make fun of me afterwards, like you always do anyway. But at least check it out.
See, I like that. I like when there's a competing product. I didn't like after WCW left or they bought him up. That was the end of wrestling, as far as I was concerned. Until, obviously you say it's good now, but that for me that was it. That was
the WWE in wrestling is like Disney is to media. They're buying up fucking everything they possibly can, and they're putting their own stamp on it. Good for AEW for being a competitor. Good shit. There's a couple other like crappy fucking wrestling things, and I can't name them off the top of the head, but like the one that Hogan was in, and like this unmentionable bullshit. Like, just check it out. They're down in like Jacksonville or something like that. They usually like that outdoor. Like they've had fans constantly. Like,
and from what I understand, they're
against COVID.
They're not doing because obviously because Earl, us three, we grew up in that Attitude Era. That's our bread. And
well, I
butter
mean,
for us.
I grew up like
all right, we're all the same.
Hulk Hogan era.
Okay, well, yeah, but that was our bread and butter. But the point is, since then, right, compared to that, it's WWE is PG now, literally.
Yeah.
It used to be PG.
Yeah.
So
Much
AEW, from what I understand, still is kind of pushing it a little bit. Is that what's going on? They still like
Pushing the envelope.
they'll bleed and like
Get a little color?
and get a little Tom
There's
Wilson.
a little bit more blood, but I wouldn't call it like over the top, like a Texas death match or anything like that. Like they don't push that kind of envelope, but it's tough to say. Like they're not again, they don't like go out there with like girls hanging out all over the place like they used to in the Attitude Era. Like they just push current envelopes, which is not really that big of a it's not that big of a deal because. Oh my God, it's the most shocking thing. They just said the F word and they bleeped it out, but they shouldn't have said it in the first place. Suspend them, cancel them. Relax. Jeez Louise. So the current envelope, it's not that much, but they are pushing it.
Well, although that the women's match maybe 3 weeks ago was the most amazing women's match I've ever seen. They both were bleeding.
There you go.
The one girl, I think Dr. Britt Baker, that's her name.
Earl, when are they not bleeding?
Well, tell me, but on their face. But like she looked like the Sandman, like blood like I'd never seen that before. Even my fiance Chandler, she stopped what she was doing and was like, "This is amazing!" Like, and last night's main event was very WCW War Games, like with the 2 rings and
nice.
And the bad guy MJF is like he's pretty funny, and I'm a Jack Swagger mark, so I always root for Jake Hager. When they had him doing the stuttering gimmick, that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. I like the We the People thing before he left, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a legit athlete. I think he was like still to this day the number one in wins and Oklahoma history in wrestling, and that's pretty impressive. But I do love how in Bellator they say he's an undefeated fighter, like he's some unstoppable monster. And he's literally fought 2 guys that look like roast battle contestants. LA roast battle. I don't mean to disparage the New York roast battle community.
Stand up New York.
Course.
I know there's a beef with LA New York roast battle people.
We don't have to worry about that here. All of our girlfriends
They're bringing
are
back.
of age.
They're bringing back the roast battle next week at the Stand in the city.
Good luck with that. I mean, if you haven't been on TV by now with the show, you ain't gonna get on next year. Keep the weekly show going, and Jeff Ross will call Todd Barry for the next TV gig. Okay.
Jeff Ross.
I-
boy.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's one of the things I enjoy.
Yeah. Let's move on. Sorry,
Yeah,
that was my
We'll
fault.
move on. That was good.
My bad. My bad.
No. I don't want to get you in
That's all
trouble.
right.
That was covered on MLC anyway. Again, a free.
Yeah. That was you know.
Why do you like Jeff Ross? What's happening with Jeff Ross? Why is he so?
Listen, by the way, because you heard about it. I think you heard about it. We offered when Kevin was here in this very room.
We got to talk about that.
I was talking to him about I'm not taking credit for it, but I was like, I don't want to do so. I was like, first, you got to go back out and do spots, if for nothing else than stories for the podcast. It's gold. And what happens? And where I told him, let me or me know, we'll come be your unofficial bodyguards because you always have trouble, Kevin. And what happens is first weekend out, he gets mauled by Bobby Kelly on the sidewalk. And we should have been there. I told him. So I asked him if he needed a detail for this weekend. He told us.
He's so big. He's like a rhinoceros.
Yeah, God bless that man. God bless.
I love him. Like he's like, I respect that he just speaks his mind and like names.
Absolutely.
Names. I mean, I'm in LA. Like nobody names names.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I've always liked you, Earl, since I've been introduced to you, is because you're fucking you're a rare one out there. And it's not even like you say anything too crazy. And I don't mean any offense by that. I'm just saying like you're all you're doing is calling it as you see them.
Right.
But it's like everybody's so worried about who you're gonna offend or bother or saying the right thing. I don't know. That's why we all love Kevin, because he just says what he just says the truth. Is all. He keeps it
true to
real.
his nature.
Now
Yeah.
he takes it to another level, but
Well, I mean, I'm pretty close, but like I think
for LA, you're the
if you keep it real and you don't like, to me, there's a difference between talking shit and talking facts. Like, talking shit is like, oh, I don't know, your guys' podcast sucks, and I've never listened to it. I just
It's still confusing because that's also
a fact.
but you know what I'm saying, like,
yeah.
Well, their podcast sucks because A, B, C, D. Like, you just start naming facts. It's I mean, you just got to be careful what bridges you burn. But like, I know Kevin didn't he have a podcast burning?
Yeah, and then literally in his life too.
But like, you gotta. Think, okay, what happens if I say this? And if you're comfortable with it, you say it. And if not, you just, I don't know, take it in the ass in this business. And I don't, I'm comfortable enough. I mean, I'm a completely unknown comic, but like, I'm comfortable enough to stand up for myself.
Well, I think you're being a little.
I think you're being a little humble with that.
Right. I think that's.
Well, I mean, I have a low level of fame.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say same for you, same for Kevin. Like, you kind of you've been there, done that. You've pretty much done it. So, you're not.
You can pick your
you're not
battles.
one of us just talking shit. You've been there, done it. So what you say does have some weight because you've done it. You're not just some guy like trying to get attention, to get likes or views or whatever. You're saying it because it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
At least
mean,
that's
I'll
how
never just. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, but I'm sure I haven't helped myself with, like, say, Comedy Central when I talk about how I was treated on a show that I helped build, and but in my brain, I was like, all right, I'm at the time 49. They haven't used me by now, other than roast battle. They ain't gonna use me tomorrow, so it was worth the. I hope I didn't burn a bridge, but if I did, it was worth it to me.
Well, speaking of people getting attacked, have you ever gotten in a brawl over comedy?
Not really. I mean, I'm a pretty scary looking guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep it to a hockey reference. I kind of look like Clark Gillies, like just
Unassuming, but also dangerous.
Right. I mean, Clark Gillies was, and it goes almost with the Barry Beck comparison. Like, they didn't have ever over 100 minutes in penalties. They maybe had 3 fights a year because no one wanted to fight them.
Right.
I can't remember the last time I fought another comic. I might not have ever fought another comic because I have like a Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk temper, like if I'm pushed, like, you know, I don't think, I mean, I'm a horrible fighter, but it's a scary presentation.
Yes. Earl, I've seen your body. You've got a beautiful body on
Oh, he's
you.
a beautiful
How-
boy.
Now he's a beautiful boy. Do you are you did you
That got really weird.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I like
He's a
body.
beautiful boy.
This got
Accept it.
gay very fast.
Oh, it's gonna get gayer and it's gonna be faster.
Just like
But-
Stancil.
It's gonna
That's
get
right.
fast.
I got gay fast. No, but did you like ever compete? Are you just into fitness? Like you got a hell of a body on. You got a hell of
He's a
torso
personal
on.
trainer, so this isn't 100% gay.
Ex personal trainer, ex All American athlete. That's
Yep.
both facts. But you got a good body on you.
Well, I mean,
Care to comment?
Care to log off?
Yeah.
well, you know,
Talk
I
about your
like it.
body.
Well, I mean, you know, it's 6'1", 205 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. I'm the man of the hour, but never sour.
Wow.
I ripped that off from a Dark Side of the Ring episode I just watched.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh, the irony.
speaking of
That's
which,
tonight. That's
Yeah.
tonight. I mean, I like to look at a woman, go, oh, she's got a great body and big tits or whatever. So I'm assuming they like to look at me and go, okay, he's got a nice presentation or whatever. Like,
I want to see the
you
dark side of her.
know,
Okay.
I
So
went-
you just stay
I
in
don't
shape.
do-
You just stay in shape. You never competed or anything. Like
I probably could have back in the day. Like I was pretty strong. I was freakishly strong for a guy who's never done steroids or anything. You know, like I could probably squat 600 pounds, and that was with a torn ACL. No, that's not a big deal to a bodybuilder. That's probably their warm-up weight. But for me, it was like,
oh yeah,
and
wait.
I'll be honest, my form wasn't the best, but I got that fucking rack up.
Fuck yeah.
So, you know, they called me Baby Tom Platz at my gym because I had these huge thighs, and I had
I
a
got
great.
big calves.
Stancel's
I
getting
bet
excited
you do.
now.
I can tell Stancel's hard as a rock right now.
You want to see my calves?
Dude, sure, why not?
Show it. Flex
First of all,
forward.
Stancel's that's a calf.
Dude, you have those Barry DeMay, the flexing
That's
Dutchman.
a calf pasture.
Yeah.
Like two
Oh, I
bullets
get
holding
cramps.
up a foot.
Yeah, I think he just tore a hamstring.
He just locked up so hard. What the fuck?
Yo, is
He won't be able to
cramping?
sit. Oh, you good?
I won't be able to sit down after.
Well,
if
that's
I
an
ever meet
all-American
Earl, I'll tell you
athlete.
that.
He does look like somebody just put a butt in your calf.
Well, the legs feed the wolf, and I eat a lot. And boy, do I eat! Love food.
I seen you in action against the great Bobby
Biggs?
Biggs.
Bobby
Like,
Biggs.
That was like watching Hulk Hogan and the Warrior at WrestleMania, man. It was just like
Wow.
two unstoppable forces.
Well, we grew up.
He was all charisma.
We grew up. I grew up. I don't know. And you maybe you did too, Earl. We grew up. I grew up doing backyard wrestling. I had my own wrestling federation. I had storylines and everything. We recorded it. So that was just like something I've done a million times at Entrance. You know, it's just
LAW.
an old vet, basically. You ever do backyard wrestling shit in your day? That was big in the '90s when we were younger. Is the back?
Oh, I
remember?
used to love watching those videos of like kids doing like moonsaults off of a roof and
Yeah.
missing the ring by like
Yeah.
15
Onto
feet.
two mattresses.
I definitely-
with a
I have those
dragon
still on
rope.
VHS. Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful.
Although I did watch, I was lucky enough to out here. They had a company called XPW, which I think they are doing a Dark Side episode on. They were like a much more violent, low budget ECW. Like, think about that. Like, that's the one New
Scary.
Jack threw Vic Grimes off the scaffold.
Yes.
Oh, I remember. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like he almost killed the guy. Like he tased him.
Doesn't
Say,
New Jack
you
have
know,
like
they
two
had a
deaths
beat.
on his record right now? Like, didn't he kill two people?
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's happy about it. He's like, yeah, they shouldn't have fucked with me.
Yeah, well, he almost killed that fat 17-year-old guy. It's called the mass
That's
transit
what it.
incident.
That's right. That's right.
He didn't kill him, but you know, and I know a few pro wrestlers. That kid's biggest problem was, well, he shouldn't have been in the match that night. He was only 17,
Yeah.
but like he
17 would be.
went
the
up
start.
to New Jack. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like some of my comedy comrades, 17 and 18, and but we won't bring the mood down. He went up to New Jack apparently and was like, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and like you don't do that to a veteran.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
New Jack was like, "Okay, you want to bleed? You got it." So I think New Jack literally took a cheese grater and just like did what he did. He almost killed the kid, and then the kid committed suicide. I think a couple of years later. So
With the cheese grater.
With a cheese grater, yeah.
Yeah. No, he challenged Ralphie May to an eating contest. And,
Oh Christ.
Ralphie would like that joke.
Yeah, that's good.
Ralphie told me, "Earl, when I die, don't cry. Make fun of me, and trust me, I've had every year of my life."
That's awesome.
Ralphie May.
That is awesome.
I was one of the pallbearers at his funeral, and the crazy thing was he was cremated, but those fucking boxes were heavy.
Oh,
like it was back at the squat
Like
rack at Gold's and Venice. No, he had like 4 boxes of ashes, 594 pounds. Like,
yeah, somebody cleaning up asbestos.
geez, that guy took the rest of the week off.
They're still spreading his ashes.
Hey, Bill, we got
double
oh
wide,
my
double
God,
deep.
I mean, but Ralphie was the best, though. I love him. He was a big boy.
He's one of the ones that are missed
Sorry.
heavily. Him and Patrice O'Neill and all those guys. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, he's definitely on that level of like, legendary. But you can't, just can't fucking be 600 pounds, man. He just it's gonna catch up with you. So, and then what? Patrice passed away of diabetes, or what?
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was diabetes. Yeah.
Colored man's cancer, they call it.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, I guess. But I don't know if he ate well. I mean, I don't know if he was like a healthy eater, or if he tried to
Didn't look like
or
it.
Yeah, from what I saw, it didn't look like it. But yeah, I mean,
No, he's one of my favorites. If I can love him.
yeah, we haven't.
What's that?
The last what was the last 3 like? We who's I don't know LA comics who passed away, but the last 3 New York ones were like Greg Giraldo, obviously, and Patrice. Who else? Fuck, there was somebody else who passed.
I don't
away.
know. What are we doing? Just
yeah, whatever.
People who are dead.
Anyway, it sucks.
Jeez.
It sucks. It sucks.
That's how we finish the show, Earl. We just start naming.
We play a game. It's called Guess Who Died.
Yeah.
Shout out to Don
But
Moran.
that would be a long game. I mean,
a ton.
I mean, we just lost a good LA comic, Eric Myers, who was
Right.
Great comic, and he has some issues, like every comic, I guess. But he literally was walking on the highway in Texas, and a car hit him. Just 6 a.m, car didn't see him. So.
And then
Jesus,
Brody Stevens passed away 2 years ago too,
Yeah.
right?
He was supposed to do my podcast the day he killed himself. I'm like, come on, man, you couldn't have waited one day. Like the numbers would have been.
Save it for the show.
That's right.
Numbers would have been huge.
Oh, Mead.
I've had 5 podcast guests die. So like I'm known in LA as the podcast Grim
Wow.
Reaper.
Hopefully, I get lucky.
Jeff Ross, you want to do my podcast?
Yeah. I was gonna say, get Jeff Ross and Piven on, and then you could really do everybody.
Yeah, I'll do a dual episode. We'll just, how big my ratings would be if we did that and they died the next day. Oh my God, I'd be
Only one
like
way to
Rogan
find out.
level.
Only one to.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
People
I'll
you can
just
hire
chill.
for that too.
Yeah, no, I know some people who, I got some people in the Rolodex that, have no problem dismissing of my problems.
Yeah, it's all about the ratings at the end of the day. It's
Splitting
nothing
wigs.
personal at all.
Well, it's the same thing with Piper. Piper was supposed to come on my podcast today.
Right.
Obviously he passed. I was the last person, I guess he tweeted. So I had all these news organizations calling me for like a quote. And I'm like, well, I mean, I was his podcast partner, but like, I don't know, you probably reach out to the family, like, and like, it was,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
but the episode that he was on, like, it went from like 5,000 listens to like 2 hours. It was at like 25,000 downloads or whatever. It was like, hey, thanks for, tweeting at me.
Well, speaking of that,
Speaking of tweeting.
Speaking of tweeting and speaking of podcasts and speaking of, I guess, wrapping it up, we freaking, Jesus, that went quick.
Yeah, that was fast.
Inappropriate Earl. Now, Earl, I was going to say, you haven't done one in a minute, but then I saw today you did one with Chad, right?
Yeah, we did one. Every now and then, me and Chad, we have this. It's like I guess you'd call it a swap cast of.
Yep,
that's what the kids call it.
Yeah, a dual podcast where we called it the Bad Guys, and we try and get 80s bad guys, and or just Robert Wool is not a bad guy, but he's an interesting guest. He's long history in comedy and acting, and we had Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy, and
nice.
Vernon Wells, who, if you are a fan of the Schwarzenegger movie Commando, he was Bennett, the guy who lost some steam, Bennett. So we try and get these wacky, like the bad guy from Cobra is going to come on at some point.
Nice. Oh my God.
He gave me the creepiest cameo. I've only done one cameo in terms of paying for one. And I was just like, hey, can you just promote the Inappropriate Earl podcast, but has the bad guy from Cobra? And I gave him like a few feeder lines, like, you listen to the Inappropriate Earl podcast, don't you, pig? And instead, I get the little notification, Brian E. Thompson has completed your cameo. And I'm like a little kid. I was shaking. I was literally thought I was Michael J. Fox at happy hour. And I hit play, and I think it's safe to say he clearly might have had a few drinks in him.
Awesome.
And it is a pretty, I'll share with you guys. He's like a little buzzed, and he's like, hey, you really want to see Inappropriate? And he starts panning the camera down to and his wife or whoever was the female in the background was like, honey, you can't. And he's like, why not? He asked me to be inappropriate. And he's just like, I don't know. It was like Buffalo Bill creepy.
Oh my God.
Very fun.
But he was great. But we try and, during the pandemic, as you guys know, I was scared to use Zoom just because I'm not very good with technical stuff. But outside of Jamie Kennedy, I found no one to come over to my house. So I better. But I don't know you. So Chad really was amazing, showing me how to do it, record the audio like we're doing right now, and so that's why next week I'm interviewing at Hospodar because he lives in Philly, and
it's gonna be awesome.
I definitely haven't done as much because. I like it face to face.
Yeah.
But with like in this case, like we're hopefully maybe next Skank Fest or something, we'll all be in the same room. We could do this, but I just
That'd be
prefer
great.
face to face. I loved Skank Fest. The one year I did it, I judged Naked Roast Battle, and wow, like I saw things there I'm not comfortable with.
Which is saying a lot.
Ari Shafir.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
true.
Zach, I think the legendary Zach Amico set up a mousetrap on his dick, and
I remember that.
in the back area, I wouldn't say catering, but where the sandwiches and like Snickers bars were, every guy before their battle is trying to get hard. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be clothed, but I go backstage and every guy is like literally going like this. And then they're touching the sandwiches. Like, oh, is this ham on rye? I'm like, I'll just take a
but that hand
Snickers
is on.
bar. Yeah. Is there anything anyone's hands haven't touched here?
Yeah. I just
Is
saw
that mayonnaise?
I just saw Ari Shafir's prolapse colon. I'm not very hungry anymore.
Well, he was the judge with me, and so he walked out and like, his balls are next level. I mean,
he's got a notorious piece.
Well, I got the hog, but he's got the potatoes. Like his balls look like just two softballs and Hubba Bubba gum. Like they're just.
Did you try to slap shot him as hard as you can with that big ripper you got?
Dude, I didn't look at him the whole time, and I was sitting next to him. And then some of the roast battle contestants, let's just say they didn't have good bodies, and then one girl pulled her set list out of her vagina, and like it was real class. I mean, like, I can't wait to do it again.
So they
That's
keep
awesome.
pushing that off. I mean, they pushed it off to the spring, and then they pushed it off again. And now it's what, October or something?
I think you'd have to ask Lewis, of course.
Yeah.
I think I heard
the New York City one is July 4th weekend.
Oh, okay.
And I believe
The Houston one was the one that kept getting
Texas
pushed
one
off.
is, I want to say September.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it in Austin, probably in Rogan's Club. You know, I mean, I don't want to speak for Joe, but like,
Right.
seems like it would be a good fit.
Yeah.
Where do you want people to find you, Earl?
So I'm at Earl Skakel everywhere, just EarlSkakel, and inappropriate Earl. I'm lazy. I'm not on Stitcher or all the other one. I'm just on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud.
Nice.
So,
The ones that matter. That's fine.
yeah, and then if you like cartoons, I'm on Tyler the Creator's The Jellies. I play the dad.
Good show.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
I was going to ask you about that. Nice.
it's awesome. He's great. He's like, he's an amazing. He's not even he's a kid. He's like, in his
I got him to originally just because of the music, and I kind of followed his other shit. He's fucking wild.
But he's so cool. Like
Very creative. Yeah.
If everyone were like him, I wouldn't be so fucking bitter. Like, he says please, he says thank you, good job, and even if you need to do a line over again or whatever, it's like, hey man, that was great, but could you do it? It's just like, oh, I can't have it like that. Yeah, he's just like, he makes you want to work for him, or with him, or whatever. So if you have HBO Max or Adult Swim, you can watch that. And if you're high on cocaine and you're drinking, Stancil, I know this might be your gig.
What's that?
If you're roaming the streets of Harlem with the good booger sugar, I guess
for McDonald's.
You're going through a drive-through and you have a phone and the line's long. You can go on Comedy Central and look at my roast battles. I don't get paid for it. Help create the show. Didn't get paid a fucking dollar.
I love it.
By the way, and this is you did not ask me to say this, but your old lady is a fucking funny ass follow. Chandler, follow her on Instagram too. She's fucking funny, man. So follow her too, people.
She's awesome. Chandler Barbie, Barbee. She's like the queen of TikTok. Like I'm not.
She's fucking funny. I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true, but
oh no, she's the real deal. I mean, she actually makes money producing and writing. Like she helped write and produce the ABC show Holy Moly. If you like wacky golf, like a Wipeout type show built around golf, and
Nice.
So I'm still hoofing it on the streets of LA comedy. I'm a lone soldier. I speak for the victims.
You're the people's champ, Earl. You're doing God's work.
You are.
There.
Yep.
Keep bringing the truth.
I spent more money on energy drinks than most comics make in a year.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Just a beer.
Sorry, that's a Ric Flair Starcade against Sting '88. Sorry.
Earl, has anybody ever told you look a little bit like IRS?
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Erwin R. Shyster.
All you taxpayers are going to pay up tonight, and I'm going to show you this right in this ring with that non-taxpayer.
I had no idea.
No entrance music, just complaining about the people. Oh, he was such a great character. It's amazing. Money Incorporated.
You know who kind of reminds me of him is MJF in AEW. Like that guy's a great. You could tell he definitely was raised on '80s wrestling in terms of forming his character, because he's a little bit of Ted DiBiase, a little bit of Rick Rude, a little bit of Erwin R. Shyster. But I'm a Kamala guy. Put that if Triple H is listening, man, I'm going to look right into the fucking dot on my iMac and
do it.
God damn, man. Look at this fucking guy. This is literally the last known picture of Kamala, life size with no fucking legs, because you guys abused his body for 30 fucking years, put him in hot feuds with the Undertaker, Hulk Hogan. Undertaker made 500 grand and you paid Kamala 13 G. Thanks a lot, Vince.
He might be able to hear you. He's like half a mile down the street from us.
Yeah, we're right.
Kamala?
Triple H.
Yeah, we're in Greenwich.
Oh, Kamala.
We'll go.
Well,
I'll get that to him. Don't worry.
Well, that was my favorite part of hosting, and I know we got to wrap it up, but I was in charge of the Roddy Piper Memorial because my good friend and legendary LA comic Steve Simone, he was best friends with Roddy and was too broken up to do it. He's like, Earl, you got to host. And I'm like, I don't think I'm really the guy to host a memorial, to be honest. And so I get up there, and it's a packed main room at the Comedy Store. Is like 400 people, and it looked like that Springsteen video for Born to Run, where like there's so many people you can't see where it stops, and because people were in the back, it was awesome. And then I'm like, hey guys, Steve Simone wanted me to do this. I'm not really good at memorials, but I have a list of people who wanted to be here tonight. And it's dead silent because people are being respectful. I'm like, Kamala actually is going to be here tonight. He's right now rolling down Sunset, and dead silence.
Oh my God.
DDP in the back going, oh my God. Like, that is not a good feeling when you're in a room full of at least 400 people, probably more, and you hear DDP. And I saw him just going like this, oh my God. And then, but yeah, dude, it's great to see all three of you guys.
Yeah, man. I can listen to you for
right back
fucking
at you.
hours. This is great.
Yeah, no, I could go on forever. So just,
We'll do this.
We'll do this again. We could do a whole wrestling episode. That'd be fucking awesome.
You got the show.
Oh yeah, we got a secret or Coscob Comedy Saturday, 8:00. Aaron Berg, Gino Bisconti, Kevin Dabrowski, and
wait, where's that at?
That's right down the street. That's our club. That's our indoor club that we started doing shows at in February. So
Great.
Yeah, so it's awesome. We had Jim Florentine 2 weeks ago, and it's been fun, and we're trying to keep it going. It's a little tough up here, with this city opening up. You don't have the same draw, but but everybody's psyched about it, and trying to bring comedy everywhere right now. So,
I love Gino Bisconti. Like, he was trying to convince me the COVID was a scam by the MSNBC Mossad sent to take out Donnie Trump. So
he's like an Italian Alex Jones.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, he was like, you don't need to wear a mask because he's like 2 inches from me. I'm like, bro, I think I do right now. He's sweating.
I'm 52. You got to be younger than me. There's no way if I don't die, you're not going to die. And I know that. Yeah. We've all heard
Here's
it.
how it's going to work. Is it? It's going to. Yeah.
I love him. He's a good.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So Gino, Aaron, and Kevin Dabrowski this weekend.
Anthony
Zaunhauser from the Creeping Corner. Yep. So it's going to be a good show. So there's a couple tickets left. Secret Show Comedy at Secret Show Comedy on Instagram. I have the link in the bio for that show and all upcoming shows. So
send me a link on Twitter. I'll blast it out. I got
awesome.
A lot of New York
wow.
people.
Appreciate
it.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's good to meet Ranger fans and like
right back at you, man.
And if I could plug one more thing.
Yeah.
Please.
No, I'm the worst plugger in the world. Like, I tell me about it. Speaking of New York Rangers, next week on Inappropriate Earl, legendary, and he's a man who fought many times with the man in between you guys, Ed Boxcar Hospodar.
Yep.
Be my Zoom interview next week.
Awesome. So, I'll be tuning into that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Just like there's not many guys from his era, the 80s who understand what Zoom is. So just the fact that I can get someone I grew up watching, I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, next week we'll have Clark Gillies on.
Oh, actually, I could tease. We have the
that would be great.
I know it would be. There's absolutely no way he would come on this.
We actually do
don't
have
know that though.
We'll try. I'll try.
But you just have to ask.
We can do.
Like I had the guy who set up the Ed Hospodar interview, he plays on the King, or he's an announcer on the Kings, and I knew he played with Hospodar and Junior. So I'm like, hey, can you just text him and see if he would come on my podcast? And I don't even know Jim Fox on the Kings, but I'm just gonna ask him. He set it up, and like, you know, I think some of these guys, and it's kind of like what me and Chad go through with the 80s guys, some don't get it and they don't want to talk about being in Cobra anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
But some do. Like Vernon Wells from Commando, like he was psyched.
It's all about it.
You know, he did all these lines. I fed him some lines to feed me. Like I was Schwarzenegger, so I would imitate Schwarzenegger. He's like, "Been it. I thought you were dead." And he was like, "Thought wrong, John."
He fell right into it.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
he was like,
Oh, that is great.
it was like I don't want to make it, whatever making it is, and stand up for the money or the pussy or whatever, but just so I can interact with Bennett from Commando. Like, I want to do this.
Right.
That was the precipice.
John, I'm waiting. Like, it was like, I was getting goosebumps and shit. That's gayer than Stansel's hamstring pose he did a few minutes.
That's right.
Dude,
Well, you didn't even see my man pawn, Earl. Do you know what?
No, don't go
I
on.
have been waiting, Jim.
Oh, no.
Show me your calf.
No. Now I gotta ask him. Do you know? Are you familiar with man pawns, Earl?
no, I really don't want to know what.
No,
it
he
is.
doesn's They're gonna just save it for.
Yeah, I'm about to eat sloppy joes. I have
Awesome.
a feeling it looks like sloppy joes, but I must say before we go, I love the salmon shorts. Though those are.
Oh, the
like,
Nantucket Reds.
yeah.
I came to Mead's house in Greenwich, so I had to play the part. Yeah, that's it. Juggy, you still twitching? You twitching around?
Yeah, I'm twitching around a little bit. I have a condition now.
Still having
Twitch.
epilepsy online.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Wait.
I love how you piece of shit. You put up like that Bill Maher thing. He was like, "There's nothing but a big fucking waste of time." I was like, yeah. I'm surprised you didn't tag me, you fuck. No, at Juggy haha on Twitter and throwing up some clips there, and then Juggy010. Hopefully got some new stuff coming out, and appreciate it.
We
man.
got I was gonna tease with the prodigal son Paul Fenn's coming on next week.
That's
talk
good.
some playoff
Oh
hockey.
hell yeah!
Talk some Bruins.
Earl,
Yeah.
you're the fucking man. Thank you for doing this.
By the way, Prodigal Son is my favorite Miami Vice episode. Leads off season 2.
I'm gonna go watch it right now.
It's a 2-parter with Gene Simmons as the drug dealer and
Oh my
Dennis
god.
Farina as Al Lombard. I just got to tell this quick story. I was an usher at Good Shepherd Church, and Dennis Farina is one of my favorite characters. He's like the definition of a character actor who's no longer with us. He put money. I was the money man, so people would dump money in the fucking basket, and he puts in a 20. I'm like, hey, thanks a lot, Mr. Lombard. And he looks at me and goes, my name's Dennis Farina. I'm like,
God.
Not today it is, bro.
You gotta own it. No, to me,
I fucking
that's
love
who
him.
you are.
Yeah, like, you know,
You gotta own it.
when I met the sensei, Karate Kid, I just walked right up to him and said, sweep the leg, Mr. Lawrence. Do you have a problem with that? And he's just looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? This was before Cobra Kai, so it'd been a hot minute since a Martin Cove had seen the spotlight.
Very true.
Well, Ed, or Ed, I was thinking Ed Hotsetter. I can't wait for that that podcast with him.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
gonna be
excited.
fucking awesome. Thanks for coming on, man. This is awesome.
Thank you, man.
Thank you
Earl.
guys, Juggy. Pleasure to meet you visually.
again.
And
Yeah,
boys, I'll see you later.
yeah. Send us
Absolutely.
that. Send us that Cobra.
Yeah. And send me the link to your show. I'll blast it out.
Absolutely.
God bless.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you
Love you
again.
guys.
Later.
God bless America.